This will be for the con exercise rate conversion. Okay, it says Charlotte is running at a rate of 9 kilometers per hour. What is Charlotte's speed in meters per second? All right, so there's two things really we have to convert here, or at least two things. We need to convert kilometers to meters, okay, because this is in kilometers and this is in meters. And we need to convert hours to seconds. So we basically need to write a conversion equation. All right, so first off, kilometers and meters. Well, how many meters are in a kilometer? Well, that's going to be 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. Okay, those are equivalent. And for hours to seconds, I think I would like to do two separate conversions. Okay, first off, how many seconds are in a minute? We know that 60 seconds equals 1 minute. And then how many minutes are in an hour? We know that 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Okay? And when you have something equals something, you can multiply by 1 over the other. Okay? It's basically the same as multiplying by 1. Like if I took the number, if I took a random number 6 and I multiplied that by 5 over 5, well, 5 over 5 is just 1, and 6 times 1 would just be 6. So same thing with the units. If you have something equals something, just multiply by 1 over the other. All right, I'm going to erase this, but I'm going to be using this to do this conversion. Okay, so I rewrote all my conversions on top. So we're starting with 9 kilometers per hour. Okay, so I'm going to write that first. 9 kilometers per hour. And you can cancel units just like you can cancel fractions. For instance, if you have 1 over 2 times 2 over 3, we know that you can cancel the 2's top and bottom, and you would just get 1/3. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing with the units. All right, so remember we said in the beginning, you can multiply by 1 over the other. All right, so I'm going to set up at least two fractions here. I'm thinking more like 3, actually. Okay, because there's 3 conversions. So I'm going to set up 3 fractions here. We're going to multiply. All right. So we want to get rid of hours. We have hours in the denominator. So I want hours right here in the numerator. Okay, and which one was hours? Right here. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So I'm going to multiply by 1 hour divided by 60 minutes. All right, remember we said you can multiply by 1 over the other when it's equal. So that's gone. And we're looking to get seconds. So now I want to get rid of minutes. And I have 1 minute equals 60 seconds. Here, minutes is in the denominator, so I'm going to put minutes here in the numerator. Okay, and 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds. Okay, so far, if you want to see what cancels, see we have hours divided by hours. That's just 1, so that's gone. Minutes divided by minutes. That's gone. Seconds we want to keep, but we want kilometers in terms of meters. Okay, we use that one. 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. We have kilometers in the numerator, so I want kilometers in the denominator. So it cancels. Okay, 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters, so I'm going to put 1 kilometer and 1,000 meters. All right. Now, kilometers, these are all multiplied, so kilometers divided by kilometers cancels. And as you can see, the only units we have left in the numerator, it's meters, and in the denominator, it's seconds. So that's what we wanted, meters per second. Okay, multiplying numerators, this is just all multiplied fractions. We have 9 times 1 times 1 times 1,000. Okay, I'll ignore the times 1. And we'll just say 9 times 1,000. And in the denominator, we have 60 times 60 times 1. Okay, so I'll just do 60 times 60. All right. You can go right to the calculator. Sometimes I like to do it by hand. So divided by 10, cross off a 0. Divided by 10, cross off a 0. Divide by 10 again, cross off a 0. Divide by 10, cross off a 0. 9 times 10 is 90. And 6 times 6 is 36. 90 divided by 3 is 30. 36 divided by 3 is 12. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Okay? So it's not a repeating decimal, 5 halves. If you did not cancel and you just did this on the calculator, you would get 5 halves or 2.5. Okay? So you could have used the calculator all the way for this. I like to practice reducing fractions. But anyhow, the answer is 5 halves or 2.5. So in the box, you can do 2.5 or you can do 5 halves by writing 5/2. Okay, it says the batting that Wang uses to fill quilts has a thermal conductivity rate of 0.03 watts per meter per degree Celsius. What is the thermal conductivity in watts per centimeter per degree Celsius? All right, let's see. All right, I don't really like the way they wrote this because this says 0.03 and then watts per meter per degree Celsius. It makes me think it's like watts per meter per degree Celsius. Okay, but clearly from this fraction right here, this is not what they meant. Okay, their units are just like this, except the centimeters are in meters. So it's really watts per meter degree Celsius. All right, this is what it is, not this right here. All right, so the only conversion is converting the meters to centimeters. All right, again, I don't like the way they wrote this. So just be careful and look at the units for the answer that they want. Anyhow, the only difference is the meters and the centimeters. Okay, so 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. All right, I think that's all we need to know for this one. All right, so we said 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. We're starting out with 0.03. And they said the units are watts per meter per degree Celsius. I would read it as watts per meter degree Celsius. Okay, so again, I don't think they should have wrote this right here. Watts per meter degree Celsius is like that. Okay, we only have one conversion, so we just need one fraction. And we want to change this meters into centimeters. Since I want meters to cancel, and it's in the denominator, I want meters here in the numerator. Okay, 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So we just multiply by 1 over the other. All right, if we do the units first, meters divided by meters cancel. And just looking at the units, we have watts in the numerator. And we have centimeters and degrees Celsius in the denominator. Centimeter, degrees Celsius. Okay, and that's what we wanted. Okay, and now we can just do our math. Numerator times numerator, 0.03 times 1, it's just 0.03. And in the denominator, we just have 100. Okay. You can use the calculator, but when you divide by 100, you just move the decimal over 2 places. So I'm going to go 1, 2, put the decimal right here and add the 2 zeros. And I have 0.0003. Okay, and these are the units right here. But the units are already written, so this is the only thing we need to enter in the box. All right, 0.003. If you want to put a 0 in front and make it 0.003, that's the same thing. Let's see what happened. Okay, I was supposed to do 3 zeros. Just to show you once again, we had 0.03. And we divide it by 100. So that's going to be moved over 1, 2 spaces right here. So 1, 2 zeros are going to be added. Okay. So it's 0.3 zeros and then the number 3. That was the mistake. All right. So everything else was correct. So I meant to write 0.0003. There you go. All right, the inclination of an amusement park ride is accelerating at a rate of 2,160 degrees per minute squared. What is the ride's acceleration rate in degrees per second squared? All right, so the numerators already match degrees and degrees, but we have minutes squared and seconds squared. So we need to convert the minutes squared into seconds squared. Okay, before we square anything, we know that 60 seconds equals 1 minute. All right. And you can do this early on or you can do this later on. Okay. The way to convert minutes squared to seconds squared is just to square both sides. All right. So 60 squared, or 60 times 60, is 3,600. And seconds squared is just seconds squared. Now for the minutes, 1 squared, or 1 times 1 is just 1, and minutes squared is just minutes squared. So this is going to be the conversion that we use. All right. You can square it when it's already in the fraction form. You don't have to do this first, but for some people it may help. Okay, so this is what we're using. 3,600 seconds squared equals 1 minute squared. All right, we're going to start with 2,160. And that is in degrees per minute squared. All right, set up our 1 fraction here. Now we want to get rid of minutes squared because the answer has to be in seconds squared. Right here, minutes squared is in the denominator. So I'm going to write it here in the numerator. Okay, minutes squared. 1 minute squared is 3,600 seconds squared. All right, now we're in business. Minutes squared divided by minutes squared cancels. And just doing the units alone, we are left with degrees divided by seconds squared. That's exactly what we want. Degrees divided by seconds squared. And now on to the numbers. Numerator times numerator, 2160 times 1. That's just going to be 2160. And in the denominator, just one number, 3,600. Okay, I'm going to do this one on the calculator and just see what happens. And I get 0.6. Okay, as long as you don't get a repeating decimal, you can leave your answer in decimal form. And the units, once again, are degrees per second squared. All right, so if the units are squared, just make your conversion and then square both sides. So we said 1 minute equals 60 seconds, but we wanted to convert minutes squared to seconds squared. So just square both sides of the equal sign. And don't forget to square both the number and the units. All right, anyhow, the answer is 0.6. Okay, right in the box. All right, one more since I found an interesting one. Bullen rows on a crew team. Her team rows their boat at a split rate of 2 minutes per 500 meters. What is Bullen's team rowing rate in meters per minute? Okay, interesting, because the meters match and the minutes match. Okay, there's nothing really to convert. But if you see this is in minutes per meter and this is in meters per minute, so I think if we just take the reciprocal, it would work. All right, so let's do that. 2 minutes over 500 meters, I'm going to make that 500 meters divided by 2 minutes. Okay, 500 divided by 2 is 250. And that's in meters per minute. Okay, I hope that's correct. I can't really think of anything else here because, like I said, there's no units to convert. So let's see. They have meters per minute. We'll just type the 250. And that's it.